this is Brendan Wilmington from the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stocker Invitational Series race, season number 5, race number 11, and we are in the south side of the Chicago Metro in Joliet, Illinois, here at the Chicagoland Speedway, one of my favorite tracks to run NR2003 races at. This is the third time LSCI has gone here, and it made a splash even from its first race. In fact, both the races here have been instant classics decided on the final lap. There's been all forms of drama here at this track, and riding off the coattails of the incredible Lumen 500 that we just saw is going to be yet another race that I'm excited to watch. Joined alongside me in the booth is Matthew Hubert for the first time in LSCI. It's good to have you in the booth here, Matthew. With this being your first race, what is your experience here with Chicagoland, and what are you expecting this race to kind of look like from your perspective?
Well, considering how races in Wawa Cup, for instance, Chicagoland could be a track that, let's just say, can be eventful. Free wide could be possible, but wouldn't be surprised if things do go wrong, especially coming off of turn 3, for instance.
Yeah, turn 4 has been a trouble spot at this track in the past. We've also had some instance over in turn 1 as well, but last year, I believe he only had one accident. It was right at the start of the race. The restarts can be very chaotic here, along with the initial start of the race. And now I'm going to turn the attention towards the point standings because things are starting to get interesting here in the points. And we are starting to get into the point of the season now that we are a third of the way through, that we start to look at that chase cutoff. Right now, Alnita Kim still has the points lead. She is, I believe, 56 points up on the cutoff right now, but her lead is starting to shrink. She's only got a 30-point lead now over Shauna Everett, the Lumen 500 winner, who jumped up 9 spots and points from that win. And that goes to show you just how important wins are. She also got some help from a lot of the drivers up near the top of the standings, struggling in that race as well. Zach Dearman is currently third in points with his win at Iowa. He is 32 back of Kim. Tyler Landry is in fourth, 33 points back. Jacob Lopez, 3-time winner, is 35 points back in fifth. George Bryan is also 35 back in sixth. Corbin Taps has slipped down the standings to seventh, who's now 37 points back. And then you've got James Harvin in eighth. He's been solid and consistent this season, 43 points back. Adrian Wheeler, Vinny Scholes are the last two drivers in right now, only 2 points up on the cutoff, 54 back of Alnita Kim each. And you've got JB Chanel, Billy Smith, Nathan Buchanan, Charlie McCarron, and Jake Sidney knocking on the door of getting into the top 10 or potentially one of the wild cards. Matthew, if I'm one of those drivers sitting just outside of the cutoff, what is my best opportunity to get up and gain some points on these guys? What's the key to winning here at Chicago?
Well, having a good starting spot is pretty much key for any racetrack, but if you have a quick enough car, starting outside of the top 20 isn't too bad, considering you may have a chance to sneak into the top 5, or if you have really good luck with strategy and stuff, maybe a win could be possible. Maybe.
We have seen tire strategy be very important, especially at the end of the race here at Chicagoland. Of course, the race here 2 years ago in 2024 ended with Jack Gino uh, trying to undercut on a very late pit stop with only 2 tires, but it didn't work out for him. He got passed on the final lap. Then it was the opposite. It was the opposite for Jack Gino. The next year, he ended up taking 2 tires on a late restart when Ashley Blake didn't take any. It took the lead from her, but Darren Walker flew through the field on 4 tires and managed to get Gino by the time the lap was up. So Jack Gino, of course, he definitely wants to win here. He's had 2 of them slip away on the final lap already. But right now, in front on the front row, it's the 57 of Shauna Everett, who just got done winning the Lumen 500 and is backing it up with a pole position here. Starting alongside her is someone who DNQ'd the Lumen 500 and still has his number tribute from that race. Darren Walker. And again, he is the defending winner of this race, so definitely watch out for that 8 car, despite him being down in 30th in the points. Row number 2 is the 45 of James Harvin, alongside the 32 car of Kate Summers. Corbin Taps in the 16, alongside the 29 of JB Chanel. Tyler Landry and Cooper Spur in row number 4. And Ashley Blake and Ryan Silva in row number 5. Great qualifying runs for both of them. Bit of underdogs there. Of course, Blake is Sean Everett's teammate, but Blake has had a lot more struggles this year. Speaking of struggles this year, your defending champion Tim Berry, all the way down in 33rd in points. The championship hangover has hit him pretty hard, but he's pretty good at Chicagoland, so this could be a good race for him to turn it around. And alongside him is JT Boyd in row number 6. Row 7 is Charlie McCarron and Akia Tajima. Row number 8 is Karina Willis Calloway and the 15 of Nathan Buchanan. Row number 9, a pair of Hudson Motorsports teammates, Jake Sidney and the aforementioned Jack Gino, who's hungry for a win at this particular racetrack. Joanna Clark in row 10 alongside Lulu Connie. Then you've got Kevin DuPont and Mauricia Vebelst in row number 11. Vebelst won the Amateur Series race at Daytona, also won at Auto Club in the Amateur Series, so she's already got 2 wins on the year down there. This is her first Cup start of the season. I believe her first Cup start in about a season and a half. Driving the number 20 for Martin Swain Race Team. Then it's the 40 car of Adrian Wheeler and the closer, Zach Dearman, in the number 18. Got the 27 car of Holly Martin alongside the 2 car of Kobe Hollenbeck. Then it's the 6 of Lori Jackson and the 88 of Billy Smith. George Bryan and Jacob Lopez, 5th and 6th in points, starting deep in the field here today. They also didn't have very good Lumen 500s, so they're kind of starting to slide a bit here. They're going to need to try and recover. It's the 10 of Simon Lawrenson and the 55 of Michael Harvin. In row number 16, pair of Columbia Motorsports teammates Lakin Herndon in the 39 and Alnita Kim, the points leader, in the 79, who's had 2 rough races in a row. Definitely not looking for a third. This starting spot is not inspiring confidence, but Alnita Kim has come from the back to the front in races this year, so we'll see if she can do it again. And rounding out the field today is Vinny Schulz in the 62 and the 70 of Damon Kirby. There were 2 D&Qs for this race. Kaylee Maxwell driving the Blake Everett 52, as well as the 5-car Action Racing Toyota driven by Paula Sasikwa. We're going to see a 67-lap race here. I'm expecting 2 pit stops in this one. If the cautions fall, we could get a different, depending on where the cautions fall, we could get a different number of them, but expecting a lot of action and a lot of drama in this one, as this track has already provided. We'll see if race number 3 is just as good as the first 2.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the field will roll off the Brent backstretch here at Chicagoland Speedway. Matthew, who is your pick to win today?
I'm gonna put a bit safe here and go with the number 32 of Kate Summers starting in the 3rd position.
Kate Summers, driving for Pacific Racing, has not won this season, has been pretty up and down this season. A lot of accidents this year for the 32. But she has the speed. She's almost won a couple times this year, has 2 second-place finishes, 16th in points right now. She's in need of a good day to get back above the cutoff. A win could definitely do that for her. Shauna Everett and Darren Walker, though, will lead them to the green from the front row. We are underway here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Coming off of turn number 4 to end lap 1. They're 4 wide further back in the pack as Kate Summers is going to lead lap number 1. This is always dicey here at the start of the race. You oftentimes will see 4 wide in the middle of the pack. Sometimes it'll result in an accident, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did not, and they kept it clean, but it's always very anxiety-inducing. Ashley Blake had a particularly good start, going up from 9th to 4th, but is now on the outside of 3 wide as Corbin Taps and James Harvin, the 2 Appalachia Motorsports alumni, are going to go underneath the 36 of Blake, and Blake almost won this race last year. Uh-oh, looks like we had an incident, or I guess we didn't. false alarm there, but I thought I saw tire tracks and smoke, but we're all good. Everett tried to take a swipe at Kate Summers there, but was unable to take the spot, and that's left the door open for Tyler Landry and the 29 of JB Shino to take advantage. He's front four trying to pull away as Akiya Tajima leads the horde of hungry drivers behind them in fifth.
Yeah, and that's an interesting start there. The 66 machine really aggressive there of Tyler Landry right off the start, making it free wide almost immediately there. And perfect start there for Kate Summers to get by 57 of Sean Everett, who may have a good chance of taking the points lead away from Alina Kim, who is starting well in the back of the field. But here comes Sajima making it free wide for second. Here comes Nathan Buchanan trying free wide for fifth. And that's going to allow Kate Summers to pull away here.
Whoa, look at Buchanan trying to go all the way up to third. He started mid-pack. I believe he started in 15th, and he's already up to P3. The last time we went to a mile and a half, it was him and Jacob Lopez side by side for the win at Kansas, and it was Lopez winning by 7/1000ths of a second. Look at this, 2 rows of 4 wide down the backstretch here at Chicagoland. Somebody's gonna have to give, and it looks like it will be JB Chanot on the outside lane, who's gonna lose a ton of positions from that. They're still 4 wide. Jacob Lopez, Holly Martin going to get underneath Kobe Hollenbeck and Chanot. Lots of shuffling throughout the middle of the pack right here. This is the kind of racing that we've come to expect here from Chicagoland, and you see Tyler Landry trying to rip the outside. That outside will come in a little bit more as the run goes on, but right now the inside is where you want to be. And Tajima has made his way up to P2, and he's giving chase to that 32 of Kate Summers. Tajima is 20th in points. Both of these Toyotas need a good run here today to stay in the chase fight, and they're doing exactly that here at Chicagoland. Everett will move up to third, but she's going to slide up the track. Buchanan and Taps going to try and find a way around. Buchanan will get blocked. Taps will try to use the 57 as a pick here, but they're going to remain side by side for fourth as Everett's able to hold them both off. But here comes Tajima getting to the back of Kate Summers and maybe looking for a move for the lead.
Yeah, it looks like 99 of Tajima has a pretty quick car to start the race, and here we go. Going to the outside of Kate Summers. Is it going to be clear? Yes, it is. Have a new leader here at Chicagoland, but Summers trying to do a crossover move, but doesn't have enough momentum there. And they have started to wrinkle out into single file and double file there. I'm surprised they kept it 4 wide for about 5 times or so. But the top 2 has pretty much pulled away from the rest of the field. However, Sean Everett is pulling away. So is the number 16 in fourth.
Corbin Taps. And
yeah, Corbin's.
Kate Summers. Kate Summers all over the back of Akiya Tajima. These two have been magnetized to each other for the last few laps. Summers just trying to mount enough of a charge to get by that 99. Everett in third, Taps in fourth. And it's Nathan Buchanan and Holly Martin. Martin's had quite a few good runs as of late in this 27 car. This is probably the best we've ever seen the 27 look throughout a full season. The previous 4 years, this team has struggled a lot, but Holly Martin used to drive for NH Motorsports in their other car, the number 77. They brought her back this year, and things seem to be headed upwards for that 27 team. Nathan Buchanan, 66 of Landry, 50 of Lopez. And then back here, Vinny Scholl started on the last row and has found herself fighting for 10th with the 36 and the 2. So that is an impressive recovery from Vinny Scholes. And here comes Jack Gino, who is also just outside the top 10. This 81 car is one that you want to watch out for, especially here at Chicagoland. As we mentioned in the pre-race, he has come so close to winning here. Twice he had the lead on the final lap, and both times he ended up losing it. So you know he's going to be driving angry, and he's going to want that win. He's still got a little bit of a ways to go before he gets there, and Shauna Everett's caught the top 2. So this is a 3-car battle for the lead now as the tires start to wear out.
Yeah, and this is impressive here. 57 of Sean Everett catching up to both the 99 and 32, pulling away from 16 of Corbin Taps. But impressive that Vinny Schultz in the 62 started on the back row, is competing for a top 10, yet no real sign of Elena Kim in the 79, who
Yeah, you're right. The points leader, Alnina Kim. Oh, that
way
was a tight
back in the
moment.
field.
Yeah, Kim has not really progressed at all. Last time around, she was in 33rd, but it looks like she's gained a couple spots since then. Tim Berry is back here as well. His struggle continues in his title defense season. In fact, all the Columbia Motorsports cars, save for Kia Tajima, are back here. So the rest of the Columbia cars are not looking too strong, with the exception of the 99. So that is shocking because Columbia Motorsports has looked like the best team in LSCI for quite a few races this year. James Harvin, who's always so consistent this year, has several finishes inside the top 12, is also back here with his brother Michael Harvin. So few surprises at the back here at Chicagoland, but not too many up at the front. I mean, none of these drivers have really been considered championship contenders except for Shauna Everett, who's second in points, but these 3 have all had fast cars, so these are 3 drivers that we kind of expect to run up front at these mile-and-a-halfs, and it's about a second and a half back to 4th place Holly Martin. And the McPicky Motorsports cars of Corbin Taps and Tyler Landry are going to look to go side by side, but they'll stay single file. And Matthew, your observation earlier, with the field spreading out, is even more so true right now. And again, the tire wear is very much a thing here at Chicagoland. As you can see, we've got almost a second of tire wear already, and it just becomes harder to pass as Jack Gino tries to force the issue 3 wide, but he's not able to get by the 50 or the 15. But these pit stops are coming up. Whoa, the 32 slides out of line, and here comes Shauna Everett to try and take advantage here in second. But I was going to say, those pit stops are looming, and they're going to be very important to keeping your chance of winning the race.
I wonder if the 32 got loose maybe due to that tire wear, which caused Sean Everett to take advantage. But then again, Sean Everett, one of the strongest drivers to start the first third of the season, off the back of winning the Lumen 500, looking to go back to back. And the top 3 still has a pretty sizable gap there to the 27 of Holly Martin, now in 4th, as 5th through 7th has pretty much pulled away from pretty much everyone else in the pack, led by the number 81.
Jack Gino, we've been pointing him out all race long. I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore the guy that lost this race on the last lap 2 years in a row. He is climbing through the field. He's up to 8th. He started in 18th. And we've got some 3 wide action still going on in this pack, almost 2 rows of it. Buchanan and Lopez are fading, but Kobe Hollenbeck in the 2 up on that outside lane. Is he actually going to get that outside to work?
Oh, 4
he
wide.
Will. Almost 4 wide there for a moment, and there you see the effectiveness of that outside later in the run as the 2 almost cleared Vinny Schultz, but wasn't able to. This is going to be easy pickings for George Bryan and Cooper Spur. The outside not quite as effective in 3 and 4, even at this stage of the race, but we got a gaggle of cars all back here battling for the last spot inside the top 10. Joanna Clark in the 58 up here as well. Got quite a few Hondas mixed in here. And we are going to go 4 wide this time as Zach Dearman tries to force the issue. Oh boy, I don't like the looks of this. This is going to get hairy when they get to turn 4, but the 2 car smartly backs out to try and avoid an accident. But lots of action going on right here, just outside of the top 10. And the pit stops are going to be coming soon, so you know things are going to get
Oh.
crazy. I tell you what, that 27 of Holly Martin has gained quite a bit of time and is now caught up to second and third and is now trying to get underneath Kate Summers for the third spot. Maybe this 27 has a really good long run car. We'll have to see how that develops throughout the race.
Yeah, definitely there. 27 of Holly Martin. Definitely saving their stuff there late in the cycle there. But runs a bit wide. Here comes Kate Summers. I believe I saw 36 of Ashley Blake going very wide there.
Oh my
And
goodness,
they're going to
4
go 4
wide.
wide for fifth. Almost
Corbin
5
Taps.
wide even.
Corbin Taps is going to try and pass 3 cars at once, and I think he's going to do it. He's got the push from McCarron on the inside, and we know how good of a pusher Charlie McCarron was last week. And she's continuing it this week. How about that for Corbin Taps? But here comes Jack Gino trying to rip the outside in the 81 car. He's going to get blocked by the 16, but it looks like he's going to get past the 66 and the 36. She'll put him alongside Charlie McCarron here on lap number 26. And gotta wonder when we're going to see them pull into the pits. I believe we might start to see them pit around lap 28 or 29. Might even see them stretch it to lap 30. But with the last couple of years having very short runs at the end of the race, maybe they'll try a bit of a different strategy here and shake it up on our expectations. But top 4 all in a line here. I mean, they're in a pretty ideal position to pit, but looks like they're going to stay out here. Taps and McCarron continue to battle for 5th here. Blake in 7th, Gino 8th. George Bryan has latched on to the end of this pack. But these front 4 have pulled out almost 3 seconds on everyone else. And I gotta imagine, unless we get a yellow, these are probably going to be your 4 battling for the win. Unless we get some crazy strategy at the end of the race, which we have seen in years past. But oh boy, here we go.
Here we
Tajima's
go.
pitting now. On lap 28, Shauna Everett flies around him on the entrance to the pit lane. What a move there by the 57. We'll see if she'll be able to keep it after the pit stop. Did have a couple cars pit on that first go-around. Nathan Buchanan, Marisha Vebolst, Tim Berry, and Cooper Spur all came in on lap number 27. And here comes most of the field here on lap number 28. Still got a few cars staying out, waiting till lap 29. Jacob Lopez, Jake Sidney, Ryan Silva, Lori Jackson, and they're all going to pit this time by. So let's watch that 57 of Shauna Everett, see if she ends up getting out with the lead after that move on pit entry. And it looks like
it's gonna be
first overall
close.
pit box. That first overall pit box is going to help her. Tajima's going to try and pass on the apron, but Shauna Everett will, in fact, get the lead, at least initially. But here comes Tajima around the outside of the apron. He's going to get the lead back. He countered Everett's amazing pit entry with an amazing pit exit, and Tajima is back in front in the 99.
Well, that was a very interesting move there for Shauna Everett to try and get by almost all 3 of these guys there. But Tajima using the outside of the apron there to slingshot by, and Kate Summers doing the same. Now they're pinned on lap 28. I'm not entirely sure what the pit cycle is going to be, but I'm not. It's gonna be kind of close if they're gonna stretch it 40 laps.
They should not be stretching at 40 laps. I believe they will come in and pit a second time around the lap 55, 56. That's what they did the last couple of years. And I believe some cautions had pushed the pit cycle a little bit further out last year. But Kia Tajima out in front. His last win was back at Texas last year. And he also won at Kansas last year as well. So he's pretty good on these mile and a halves. That's been where he's been getting a majority of his wins lately. Front 3 all Toyotas, 4th place in a Ford, as Holly Martin and Kate Summers continue to battle for P2 here. They're almost a second behind Akiya Tajima. We don't usually pay attention to how the drivers come in and out of the pits, but you saw how crucial that was on that first cycle with Shauna Everett getting the lead just purely off of entering the pits better, and Akiya Tajima getting the lead back just purely based off his pit exit. So that is just as important as the actual pit stops themselves. As you see right there, Everett ending up in fourth out of all of that from her slow pit exit, but 4 seconds back, we got Charlie McCarron in fifth. Tim Berry, who was in the back not too long ago, is now in sixth. I believe he did pit the first on lap 27. I think he pitted the earliest out of everybody. I believe that's also why Cooper Spur is up here. But keep an eye on that one car, Tim Berry. We know that he is fast here, but he has had a terrible season. This could be a good bounce back race for him. Jack Gino fighting George Bryan for 10th here. Tyler Landry lost a lot of spots in the pits, now outside of the top 10. Marie Schiff-Evels, who we know pitted earlier, because I saw her in the pit lane, in the top 15 right now, not looking too bad in that 20 car. When she did run a few cup races for Diamond Motorsports a couple years ago, she was pretty fast, just had a lot of bad luck, but Bebels is looking pretty strong right now, although she's under heavy pressure from the 6 of Lori Jackson for that 14th spot. But back up at the front, here comes Kate Summers. Martin got by her, but Summers is going to try and take it back as they try and close in on Akiya Tajima. They are doing so successfully, but are they too worried about battling each other to try and get up to that 99 car?
I'm not entirely sure here. The fact that these two are Toyota teammates here is gonna be a bit awkward there in the mean there, but Everett almost looking for a free wide move for the second position. However, shout out there for Tim Berry and Cooper Spur to do an extreme undercut to claw their way inside the top 10 there. Especially Tim Berry after a miserable season. The championship defense season, rather.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how much tires those cars have as the run goes on, especially compared to drivers that pitted later. I want to shout out Ryan Silva as well, the part-time driver for Checker Flag Racing, series veteran. He's in his third race of the season. He's put this 9 car, which has been struggling with almost everybody in it, inside the top 20 twice, and is currently running inside the top 15. So Silva's looking at putting that 9 into yet another good finish. But up at the front, Kate Summers has closed in on the bumper of Akiya Tajima. We have seen them bumper to bumper for quite a bit with that first run. Both of these cars are very fast, but Tajima's been able to defend better, and he is pulling away from the 32 down the backstretch. We'll see if Summers can maybe try and slingshot back to him. As once again, these front 4, we pointed it out earlier before the cycle, I think these 4 are going to be the cars that are battling for the win when it's all said and done, unless we get some funky stuff like a caution or some alternate strategy. Kate Summers is trying to make that outside work. I don't know if it's quite late enough in the run for that to really work in her favor, but she didn't really lose anything by going for it. But Holly Martin's going to dive bomber in turn 3, and the 27 Menards machine is going to move up to second. Gets back past the 32.
Yeah, that didn't really work out quite as well for Kate Summers running what is essentially the Kyle Larson line there, but switch back on the number 27 for second position. Going to be a bit more breathing room for Tajima in the number 99. And speaking of Columbia Motorsports, how far up the grid is that 79?
The 29 of JB Chanot has some damage, possibly a pit lane collision for her, but checking in on Alnita Kim, she is a bit further up the field now, but she's still back in the 26th position. So I feel like for the first time in quite a while, although she is making some moves here on Lulu Connie and Karina Willis-Callaway, we might have considerable pressure for Alnita Kim trying to hang on to that points lead. She's really been on a slide these last few weeks. Darren Walker's bad season is continuing as he is also back here mixing up with the 10 and the 92. Lakin Herndon, Jacob Lopez, JT Boyd and Harbin both finished top 5 in the Lumen 500, and they're out back here. And Corbin Taps, who was inside the top 10, possibly might have been the one that ran into JB Chanel, considering how far behind he is. No visible damage, but that damage could have been him coming in and Chanel coming out, but he is way back there now. And the 32 and the 27 continue to fight for position. They just will not stop trading second place. But neither of them have had anything for Akia Tajima yet. They're keeping pace with them, but they have not made a move on him yet. Instead, again, they seem more interested in fighting each other as they're side by side here, closing in on the final 20 laps in the race. 23 laps to go. Akia Tajima has led most of them, but he has been under pressure basically the whole time. If he slips up, Holly Martin and Kate Summers will be right there. But I think it's in their best interest to try and dispatch up Akia Tajima first before they start fighting each other for position. As Tajima's now starting to pull away from these two as they've been side by side for about a lap and a half now.
Yeah, that is not really an ideal position. However, Sean Everett has fallen off from the top 3 by well over a second. So that's a bit unfortunate. Tim Berry is now inside the top 5, past Charlie McCarron in the 85 as they battle for 5th. Ashley Blake has held on to 7th in the number 36, so great points haul after a bit of a disappointing start to the season as McCarron gets back around Tim Berry and 27 gets by Kate Summers for second.
Yeah, now they've kind of single filed out once again inside the top 3 this time. Shauna Everett, whatever adjustments they made to the 57, they did not work, and she is falling behind the top 3 as the Toyotas set sail. The Toyotas have been very strong this season. Columbia Motorsports has, I believe, 2 wins to their name, one with Alnita Kim and one with JB Chanot. And Pacific Racing has a win of their own as well from Paula Sisiqua at Auto Club. So they were looking very strong to start the year, but they actually haven't won in a bit. The last 2 winners have been Fords, and then of course we had the Jacob Lopez 3-peat before that, but the Toyotas are showing their might here. Definitely looking a lot better than they did last year, but one of these 3 is going to end up with the win if it all plays out like this. And Holly Martin and Kate Summers are not able to close in on the 99 of Tajima. He's just been putting down fast lap time after fast lap time. 50 laps into the race, we've been clean and green the whole way through. We'll see if Martin or Summers potentially have something for the 99 of Tajima. Summers definitely has something for Martin as they've continued to swap second place back and forth. Summers to the inside here in turn number 3. We'll see if she takes that position back. It looks like she'll be clear off of turn 4. So move the 32 back to P2. But that's not really helping them catch Tajima. In fact, it's definitely hurting them more than helping them. But about 5 laps, we're going to see that second cycle, and that pit stop could change everything, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. They're considering we are about 5 laps or so from getting the second pit cycle to come into effect there. And Tajima has held on for quite a bit ever since pulling that move off Sean Everett, who has really fallen off the top 3 there, fallen into the clutches of their teammate of Ashley Blake, Charlie McCarron, Tim Berry, and then George Bryan in the number 3, as well as Cooper Spur. And I'm back.
Outside the top 10, Jack Gino, Laurie Jackson, Ryan Silva, Zach Dearman. just outside. All of them having pretty good runs, especially Jackson, who has had, much like Tim Berry, her teammate, has had a very horrible start to the season, although her expectations were not quite as lofty as the defending champion. But regardless, good run for that 6 car. And we already pointed out Ryan Silva earlier in his 3rd race of the year. He has been impressive in his time in that 9 car. But Kate Summers is going to try and mount a charge on the 99 of Tajima, but not if Holly Martin has something to say about it. She got a huge run off of turn number 2, and she's going to get back underneath the 32. Once again, the two continue to battle for second, but have not been able to make a move on Akia Tajima. And that pit cycle will be starting very soon. Lap 54. It's been about a 27-lap run for those that pitted on lap 27.
Tim Berry's
is
pin.
our first taker. That is scheduled. He was the first one to pit last time. He is trying that undercut. Honestly, I really like the undercut at this point in the race. Because that is really going to that is really going to help you, especially with such a short run at the end. Tajima's in this time, but Summers and Martin have stayed out, so I like what Tajima's doing as well, just pitting as soon as he sees the first car come in.
Yeah, Tim Berry, pretty much the only driver to pit on 55. And Tajima leaned quite a few drivers in, including Marisha Vebels, Cooper Spur, Charlie McCarran.
Most of the
Believe
Honda's
that
coming in this time.
Kevin DuPont sideswiped Marisha Vebels a bit. And
Summers and Martin are
some
in.
more drivers staying out trying to push their luck.
Couple of small collisions in the pits. That's pretty typical with this track, as well as a few others on the schedule. It doesn't really affect anything, but Lori Jackson, Ryan Silva trying to stretch it. Jake Sidney, Vinny Scholes, Kobe Hollenbeck still have yet to make their pit stop. But here comes Tajima out of the pits. I believe Boyd has yet to pit as well, but Tajima looks like he's going to get a massive lead. But we have yet to see where the 32 and the 27 are going to cycle out. Another benefit to pitting later is that you take less fuel than the cars that pit earlier. So that could potentially make up the tire difference, although Tajima definitely executed well in the pit lane, and he is flying away from the 32 and the 27. He's going to have a massive gap, and I don't see that gap going away over these last few laps without a yellow.
No, that probably isn't the case. See how big of a gap that is. That is at least 4 seconds between
just
Tajima.
About 4 seconds, yeah.
That is a absolutely brilliant run there for Tajima. There, just inside the top 20 in points heading into this race. Going to definitely be in contention for one of the wildcard spots at this rate, with less than 10 laps to go.
Yeah, a win here would really help his chances in the wild card. 3.5 seconds back to Holly Martin in second. Kate Summers in third. Tim Berry trying to hold on to a top 10 here in fourth. And then it's McCarran, Spur, Brian, and Everett battling for position. Lori Jackson, Ashley Blake rounding out the top 10. Marisha Vebels looks like she's going to get a top 15, so a good run for her in her first start of the year. Ryan Silva, again, shout out him inside the top 15. Vinny Scholes is 10th in points, currently running in 15th. This is a solid run for the 62. That should keep her above the cutoff, so that's good to see for her. But Tajima and Corbin Taps. Taps is a lap down here. Tajima maybe going to try and use him for draft, but Taps is not going to try and go a lap down easy here. I mean, he started off the season with 2 consecutive wins, but he has not had the best of times ever since then, so he's going to try and fight to stay on the lead lap if that caution were to come out, so that maybe he could gain a few more spots and not drop below the cutoff. But Tajima's got a 3.4 second lead. I don't see really any way the 27 and 32 are able to catch him under green, and once again, these two continue to battle for second. As the race winds down to its closing lap, 6 laps to go. Akia Tajima has put on a clinic so far here at Chicagoland. It's not looking like we're going to have a last lap pass this time by... We might have one for second, though, as these two continue to fight each other. Just back and forth every lap. This has been really fun to watch between these two, but this is part of the reason why they're not up there battling for the lead.
Yeah, definitely there. It still good results for Holly Martin and Kate Summers there. Really good run here for Tim Berry up in the 4th position, or 5th position rather, as he gets passed by McCarran again. And shout their 6th position for car number 6, driven by
Laurie
Jackson. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, the 1 and the
Sean
6.
Everett has really fallen off late.
Yeah, Everett was pretty solid in that first run, but again, whatever adjustments they made did not quite work out. She's still looking at a top 10, and she could close in on that points lead, checking on where the 79 is. Actually, Almeida Kim is up to 19th now, so she's managed to put that car into the top 20. She's still going to lose points to Everett, but she's going to maintain the points lead, and it's not going to be as big of a bite as it could have been, especially with Everett falling down the order late, but here we go. 3 laps to go. Akiya Tajima battling with the lap car of Corbin Taps, but he's kept a steady lead over the 32 and the 27. And again, as long as nothing unfortunate happens to the Yahoo machine, it looks like he's going to have it made. One of the fan favorites in the field. Tajima looking for what I believe would be, if I'm not mistaken, his 5th win of his career, and 4 of them have been on 4 different mile-and-a-half cookie cutters. He won at Kentucky 2 years ago, and then we mentioned earlier that he won at Kansas and Texas last year. Now trying to add Chicagoland to that list of mile-and-a-halfs that he's won at.
Yeah, definitely had the pace to get this race win as we come to 1 lap to go. All Tajima needs to do now is cruise to the win.
Yep, white flag, 1 lap to go here in the Lumen Star Car Invitational at Chicagoland. Half a lap left here for Akiya Tajima, and all he's got to do is bring it around town one more time through turns 3 and 4, and Akiya Tajima will be adding his name to the list of 5-time LSCI winners. Tajima gets the checkered flag at Chicagoland. He is going to win for the first time this year. Summers will hold off Martin for second, and it will be McCarran and Berry rounding out your top 5.
Well, that was definitely an entertaining race there. Although the 99 definitely had arguably the fastest car of the race.
I mean, I don't even think it's arguably. He straight up did. Once he got the lead, he did not give it up. It was a dominant performance from Akiya Tajima. Very impressive for the veteran. He's one of the few drivers that has stayed in the same number for the same team every single season of competition. He's run just about every race in LSCI, so he is as much of a veteran as you can get. He will get win number 5 here, and again, his last 4 wins have all come on mile-and-a-half tracks, so watch out for this 99 when we come to tracks later down the season, like Kentucky, like Oregon, like Texas. Those are going to be tracks where Tajima's going to be a big threat. This win is going to be huge for his chase hopes. Try and sneak into a wildcard spot again. He was down in 20th in points entering this race. This is going to be very helpful for him to nab one of those wild cards. He only had 1 top 10 all year. That was an 8th place at Auto Club before this race. So again, this was a huge boost for that 99 team. But Kate Summers, this is her 3rd second place finish this season. You gotta wonder when she's gonna break through. Just continuing the checkers or wreckers kind of trend. This time well, I guess not checkers, but still second place. She's going to gain a lot of points, though, on the cutoff as well. Holly Martin down in 26th in points. Definitely needed that run. Charlie McCarran 14th. That's another driver that's battling for a chase spot. That's going to be huge for her. the pair of Tim Berry and Laurie Jackson just needing something good to come out of this season, and it looks like they're both going to have solid finishes here. And there you see the rest of your finishing results here. Everybody except Corbin Taps finishing on the lead lap. All 36 cars finishing the race. We did not have a caution in this race either. We went caution free. I believe we went caution free the first time we went here to Chicagoland, but I think last year we had 2 yellows, if my memory serves me correct. So we definitely could have seen some yellows, especially with some of the crazy racing we saw in the middle of the pack, but kept it clean and green here, and Kia Tajima with an impressive performance. Matthew, what did you think about that race?
It was definitely a bit chaotic, like a gold rush, as Trey Wright would put it at the start of the race there, with Tanya Gray going from back of the grid. Vinny Scholl's driver. Vinny Scholl's went from back of the grid to a top 10, finished 12th, and even though it wasn't as quick, Elena Kim finished 19th from
18.
18th from second to last.
Yeah, Kim is definitely still going to have the points lead after this one, but that lead will continue to shrink with Shauna Everett's 9th place finish. She definitely could have, like I mentioned, taken a bigger bite out of it as she was running in the top 4 for most of the race, but still going to gain some points on it. Zach Dearman is also going to gain on the points leader. And so both the 57 and the 18 will gain on Almina Kim. That regular season championship is going to be important. You get a lot of bonus points for winning that. So Kim is starting to slip, so it could be a feeding frenzy for everybody else further back. Here's some drivers that struggled this race. JB Chanot, who is known for hot starts with cold finishes. It's looking like we might have another one for JB Chanot. It looked like she got some damage in the pits, but even before then, she'd slid back. Lakin Herndon was a non-factor all race. 18th in points, did not need that. Same for JT Boyd, 17th in points. Billy Smith was 12th in points and had a poor showing here today. Jacob Lopez, the 3-time winner, ever since his wins, has really just gone cold. Really, I think outside of the month of May, Jacob Lopez has been a non-factor, but he just had a very hot month of May that's kind of holding him up now. And then, of course, Corbin Taps going a lap down. 7th in points, he has been slipping down the stretch, so that could be big for him. Thankfully, those 2 wins are really going to help him in the wildcard race if he has to fall back on that. But that was a solid race here at Chicagoland. Not quite as crazy as the previous 2 events here, but there was still quite a bit to watch and quite a bit of action all throughout the pack. And next week, we're going to be going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, our second road course of the season, right after COTA, which JB Chanot won. So, hey, you know what? Maybe Chanot can bounce back next week. But that's going to be an exciting race for sure. We've had some incredible finishes there as well, both in real life and in LSCI. So that's going to be a fun one to watch for our only race north of the border. But thank you to Matthew Hubert for joining me in the booth tonight. And on behalf of Matthew Hubert, this is Brendan Wilmington signing out. Here are your point standings after race number 11 of 30, which will be on your screen right now.